no need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rest. Right now it's time for hemp.
Thank you for taking Time for Hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr. Am I even being heard here? Let me pump this up. Can you hear me when I talk?
I can.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for taking Time for Hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and who knows what else. We're out there all around the world. We've got our Roku TV network up and going. You can find us on Roku TV as well. And we are about 20 hosts now working diligently to end prohibition all around the world. It is Tuesday, and on Tuesday we put a spotlight on what's happening up in Canada with our joint host, Kriston from KDK Distributors. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Casper. How you doing today?
Pretty groovy, thank you. And normally our guests are from Canada as well, but because you are in a distributorship, you are someone who likes to bring new products to the marijuana movement of good quality. We know that you look around the world lots as much as you can to find new items to put on your shelves and the shelves of the stores that you stock of products that the hemp movement might find of benefit. And so we have today from Jungle Secret Water on the program. David Pipkin has joined us. He is the owner of Jungle Secret Water. And his friend Ralph. Ralph, how do you pronounce your name again?
Suddath.
Suddath. Ralph Suddath is the inventor of this groovy item that Jungle Secret Water is making available. And Kelly, I thought it might be just fantastic if you had the opportunity to meet these gentlemen and learn more about their products so that our audience can learn with you.
You bet, you bet. Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Really good, thank you.
Just fine, sir. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So Jungle Secret, well, I know that's such a great name. I like it. For those that are listening, you can go to junglesecretwater.com and look at their website and see if, as we're talking about the product, the first thing I have to say, guys, is when I read it, the first line, a patented magnetic vortex chamber. Now, patented we all understand, magnetic we all understand, vortex and chamber we all understand. Magnetomicrospheres programmed with beneficial frequency patterns designed to clear the toxic memory and enhance the energy, structure, and vibration of water. I'm going to say, honestly, fellas, you've really got a phenomenal line there, but it's got me baffled. And I'm sure that most people listening or that have read it or maybe know about it probably feel in the same boat. It sounds like something almost magical as opposed to something real. So maybe you can, just on that alone, maybe we can start our conversation there and see where we go. I don't know which one of you would like to take the lead.
Well, let me just jump in here because it's a very interesting subject. Water. Most people consider water as an organically dead chemical substance, and that's as far away from the truth as it gets. There's a lot of components that addresses water quality. And one of them, you can say mineralized water, and then the energetic properties of water. That's where I began my research back in 1997, and was looking for back in those days I was thinking about creating the fountain of youth, or the theory of the fountain of youth came into my possession, and I began working on developing a water system that would reverse aging, and I got off into that trip. But what I ended up really finding out is that aging had nothing to do with the water component; that it had everything to do with our the genetics of the human body. So I kind of quickly figured out that I'm not going to discover the fountain of youth through water. But I did learn a lot about water, and I learned that water has the ability to store information, and it has the ability to basically have a certain vibration or frequency. And I thought, well, if water can hold a vibration or frequency, what can we do to improve water with that information? And the first thing I started finding out was that there's 6,000 chemicals that have been introduced into our water supply. And then I was finding out through working with Dr. Emoto in 2000. I met Dr. Emoto, who was studying water under the microscope, and he was freezing water, and he was showing tap water being this distorted, with these distorted patterns, and he was showing natural spring water with these beautiful. Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost him.
We lost somebody. Hello? Are we there?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay. They were showing, tap water with distorted crystals, and then spring water with these beautiful crystals. And so I began researching and finding out that these chemical toxins are distorting these natural water crystals that are in our water. And so with that information, we took several thousand photographs of water from around the world, and we determined that the Healing Springs water had these beautiful patterns. And so my research started working on trying to figure out how to create this high vibrational water with tap water. And so the first thing I realized, I had to get rid of the memory, because the memory of water is something that people don't think about, but it's much like homeopathic medicine. The information, even if you filter that water, that information of the poisons that it has come in contact with, it is still there. And so I had to first, I couldn't just program healthy or vibrational frequencies into the water, because it already had all of these unhealthy or unnatural frequencies from the chemicals that were in the water. So I had to remove those chemicals, or remove that the information or the memory of the water before I put in the good memory. So that's kind of where I began my research again back in the late 90s, and over the years I've developed a number of water systems, but this was just one that I created, and it turns out that it has a wonderful effect on the plant kingdom, because it works with the microbiological community. It's all a vibrational, energetic environment that supports the microbiological community. And so this is kind of quantum physics, so to speak, but the water world is people that are in your industry don't seem to be putting much attention toward water quality other than just filtration.
All right, well, now that you've said all of that, you still didn't seem to answer the question as to explain the first line of your website.
Okay, well, let me go to the website. What was the first line again? I'm sorry.
Give it to him, Kelly.
An inline system contains a patented magnetic vortex chamber made up of magnetomicrospheres programmed with beneficial frequency patterns designed to clear the toxic memory and enhance the energy structure and vibration of water.
Okay, so what the magnetic microspheres are there for, and by the way, it had to be the right kind of magnetic microspheres. It had to be it turns out less is more, so it's one of the weakest magnets that they make, and then it's coated with ceramics. So basically the water, when it goes through the chamber, the memory or the patterns are erased of the whatever chemical memory prior to going in the chamber is erased. And inside the magnetic microspheres, I developed a Tesla machine that along with a frequency generator, that I'm actually able to put new information actually into the magnetic balls, and that information actually travels on the magnetic waves into the water. Now, that may sound a little science fiction, but where I'm able to see that the information is being transferred by freezing the water and seeing the information under the microscope, or the crystal shows me that the information was transferred under the microscope. Does that help explain that?
It does help explain, for sure. Now, so toxic memory. Now, so it's come in contact with toxins. Are those toxins not present? Is that, obviously you claim this is not a filter, so you're not filtering out the toxins. All you're doing is changing the memory of the water that that has come in contact with are no longer present.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like homeopathic medicine. I mean, they put a drop of the whatever the substance that you want to put in your homeopathic remedy, and then they dilute it down, and so the information is in the medicine, but it's greatly reduced. It's the same thing with water. When we've again 6,000 chemicals have been introduced into our water supply. Chlorine and fluoride, all those other chemicals are the ones that we think of right off the bat. But all those chemicals convert into patterns. They actually convert into geometric patterns, and those patterns basically are disruptive, or they either disrupt the natural biological microbiological processes, or they enhance. And in most cases they disrupt, but we overcome them with our fertilizers and our other things that we add to our grow methods. But water quality is something, again, that people have overlooked, that filtration is not water quality. Filtration is just getting rid of maybe the chlorine, the main chlorine chemical, but the memory of that water is still being uptake by the plant. And so having the healthiest plant possible would be to strip any negative memory going into your crops. So that's kind of where, maybe it's a little bit like people say, well, it's kind of extreme. But, for all the years that I've been doing this, we're seeing plants are really a much healthier plant growth with, using this method with Jungle Secret.
Right. I see you do have a picture gallery on the website, but I don't see any pictures of the water. I think that would certainly go a long ways for certainly a guy like me trying to understand exactly what's happening and what the benefit is.
There should be a frozen water crystal at the bottom, I believe. Or I'm assuming now. I'm thinking that.
Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
If you go to the top of the web page, it's what we call the cutaway photo of the actual device. Just so people know, it's actually it's not a very large device. It's quite simple.
Right. Yeah.
But if you look above that, there are 3 photographs of crystals. Those photographs are not, I didn't buy them from Google Images. Those are actual photographs taken in Dr. Masaru Emoto's lab while Ralph was working with him. So those are actual photos of water that has gone through this technology. I hear what you're saying. We'll work on getting more actual water, photographs on the webpage. But those 3 photos, again, they're not just stock photos. Those are actual
from
Dr. Emoto, who a lot of people have worked with.
I don't get the photos. I see photos of with and without as far as the crops are concerned, and I see one photo with hand holding the device, but I don't see any water crystal pictures at all.
Oh.
No, go to the home page, and underneath patented, proven, pioneering, at the very top of the page, where there is a photo of the device, and it says neutralizes toxic memory.
Yeah, I'm there. I see it, yeah.
Those 3 photos are not stock photos of crystals. Those are actually, and Ralph, you can go into your work with Dr. Emoto if you'd like, but those are actual photos of crystals that come from this technology. So
Well,
Right.
what was fascinating is what we found with water. Water is like this living thing. The fact that we can put a diluted drop of chemicals into, say, a natural spring water, we see the distortion immediately occur to the water, to the energetic patterns of the water. Immediately, it's distorted, and so we kind of feel like water is this living. I mean, it turns out there's a lot more to water than what we realize, and science has really yet to explain water. Right now we refer to it as H2O, but there are hundreds of combinations of water molecules. It's not just H2O. There's H3O. There's H5O. I mean, there's a whole lot of chemical combinations that water can be classified under. So it's just about improving the energetic properties of water. Now, most people, again, they see it as a dead liquid substance, but what's going on inside from the physical point of view is the vibration of the molecules. Water's H2O, or let's just, for the sake of conversation, water H is H2O, so you have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen molecule. But what happens is the vibration, it's almost like if you see these things as little bubbles, these little bubbles have a vibrational field around them. And when they lose that vibrational field, they actually clump together. So the hydrogen and oxygen molecules stick together. And when they stick together, it's harder for the microbiological community to work with the water. And so the absorption rate for the plant is reduced, and everything's, everybody has to work harder. So, but when you energize the water molecule, the vibrational field of the hydrogen and the oxygen return, and so the hydrogen is easily broken away from the water molecule, so it's more readily available for the plant. And so hydrogen is the currency of the water molecule. So when you can free up hydrogen, you just make a better quality water that the plant or in the microbiological community can work with. So it's all about it's subtle vibration, but it has a profound effect on the plant life.
Now, obviously, yes, there's tremendously different water around the world, and certainly different levels of toxicity. And I know that we have particularly hard water, or what they call hard water, and there's a lot of water softeners people install to soften their water. Is this a similar type of thing, hard water, soft water, or?
No, because that's when you're working with minerals, and then we'll get into physics again. What are minerals? Minerals basically transfer certain vibrational frequencies into the water, and depending on the minerals, it depends on the how beneficial the water is. But no, this goes past that. This is quantum physics. So we're dealing with the natural energetic patterns in the water. So we're past the chemistry. So you're in the chemistry department. See, we're moving over into the physics department, and that's where the United States has kind of been left behind. Europe is big on the physics of water, but United States has been pretty much behind the curve on understanding and measuring the energetic properties of water. But we're beginning. I mean, a lot of scientists in this country or in the U.S. are beginning to take a look. They're having conferences 2 or 3 times a year now, just about water. And I know it's kind of a hard thing to swallow, but water is it's a liquid, energetic medium that can be manipulated, good or bad, and for the past 100 years, we've been basically poisoning our water supply to make it safe to drink, which, with the antibiotics, and a lot of people, again, don't see chlorine for what it is, but it's an antibiotic. So when you've been putting, for 100 years, you've been putting antibiotics into our water supply along with all the other toxic chemicals, it has distorted the natural vibrational frequency of the water to the nth degree. And so we wonder why disease is so rampant, and it has a lot to do with the fact that instead of working with the probiotic side of things, and we're working with the antibiotic things, which is basically working against nature. So, again, most people are working with chlorinated water, and then they filter the chlorinated water, but that chemical memory is still in the water, and along with the other chemical memory. So it's important that we understand that water can be manipulated in a positive way, and be one of let's just say more valuable than it is. And then if we use, say, a single frequency like 5, we all know that there's a microbiological community working at the soil level, right? There's a natural microbiological community going on there. Okay, well, and they got to work with this water. Well, water, if it has a low energy bandwidth, so to speak, or a low frequency bandwidth, then the microbiological community is going to figure out what to do with it. But if it has a high energy bandwidth or a high frequency bandwidth, then in a high energetic vibrational state, then the microbes are actually energized and they're able to work faster and more effective in breaking down the nutrients and working with the plant and the root systems. So that's what we kind of see happening on the microbiological level, is that the energetic water is working with the microbiological community. And it's no different than the air we breathe. If we're breathing a bunch of toxic air, we're not going to be working as well as if we were breathing clean mountain air. Well, in the microbiological community, air. And so it's what kind of toxic water are they working with, or what kind of energetic vibrational environment are they working under? So it's all about just improving the natural energetic environment for the microbiological community, and that's what this water does.
Very interesting. Now, I think of molecular. Is it changing in any way molecular? Is that what you're seeing in the patterns, I guess? Or you have a pattern of a unhappy family and a pattern of a happy family?
Well, here's what's interesting about water. Again, it's very mysterious still. It's still a very mysterious substance. People don't realize that there's billions upon billions of molecules in a single water molecules in a single drop of water. So we're talking about submicroscopic molecules. Can you imagine billions upon billions of molecules, water molecules, in a single drop of water? But what we're seeing, that's why we have to use the microscope. What we're seeing is there's a uniformity. There's a uniform pattern when we deal with natural spring waters versus tap water. And that uniform pattern actually is like a geometric pattern that we believe is what traps light. So it's when the geometry of the water is uniform that it's able, like anything, it traps light. It's when the geometry is disassociated that it no longer has the ability to store and hold vibration. So we believe that geometry plays a big role in the physics of water.
Well, it's still again, it seems like science fiction to me. Of course, I'm no physicist, and I'm as most of the people listening on the show, I don't know if I'm still walking away from the table, clearly understanding. I think I have a pretty good grasp of what you're talking about, and it does make somewhat sense, of course, if the water is actually doing that. It would be great if you had some pictures on the website showing, maybe distilled water as a blank canvas and natural spring water, what the molecules look like, and then some tap water, I guess, from wherever in the world that may be now. And in unto itself, tap water is going to vary greatly. There are portions of our country, we're very, very water rich in Canada, and yet there are still portions in Canada that they can't even drink the water from their tap. And then, of course, hard water and soft water, and like you say, the mineral content obviously is going to be different depending on where you are in the world. Your device is going to be able to look after any of this type of water, or if you were to take water that's not drinkable, or say recommended as safe to drink, and run it through here. Is it going to make that water safe to drink, or is it going to improve the water quality?
Well, again, when you devitalize water. Okay, here's another very good point. Water isn't, because it stores energy. When it loses energy, it becomes an energy-seeking substance. Okay, and when it becomes an energy-seeking substance, it's basically looking for energy, and anywhere it can find it. And sometimes the toxic memory of the minerals or whatever chemicals or whatever in there, have an energetic properties. So it's basically storing negative energy information, which become a breeding ground for anaerobic bacteria and disease, and really set up the low vibrational. It just sets up for a low vibrational grow environment. And when you raise the vibration of water, you end up creating this aerobic environment, which, for one, you end up working with a cleaner water. The water that you're left with after, say in an aquaponic situation, the water you're left with after it's gone through the plants and so forth, and ends up in the holding tank, is clean water. You're not dealing with the negative bacteriological effects that normally go with aquaponics. So as long as you can keep that high vibrational state, water works with you, and it helps in every aspect of your growing.
Well, one thing we got to do in order for us to grow is take a commercial break so we can pay our bills, and then we're going to listen to a song about how fantastic marijuana is, and then we're going to come back and pick up where we left off here at Time for Hemp. You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
Just fighting in big cities, taking out the innocent and the guilty. They no longer need to blend into the trees. They're hiding in the street. Oh my God, trying to desensitize me on the TV with their vision of brutality. Well, trying to shallow my conscience with defensive statements. Oh, no camouflage, they say no camouflage, they say no camouflage, no camouflage, they say no camouflage, no camouflage, no camouflage. Give me the green camouflage for my peace march. the war was over for America. Oh, I tell them they don't need degree no more. Searching for the enemy door to door. I will make camouflage in Jamaica. Make me feel like a soldier in your army. In Barbados, most peaceful people I know still can't open embargo. No camouflage, he said no camouflage, he said no camouflage. No camouflage, no camouflage, he said no camouflage. No camouflage, wow. Give me the green camouflage for my peace march. Whoa, yeah. Green camouflage will be unarmed. How can a shirt be illegal? Give me the green camouflage for my peace march. How come green camouflage so illegal? Oi. Give me the green camo, camo, camo. Give me the green camouflage. Give me the green camo, camo, camo. Give me the green camouflage. No pants, no shirt, no dress, no skirt, no shoe, no sock, no bag, no rag. Give me the green camo, camo, camo. Give me the green. Hey, give me the green. How come? Give me the green. You don't fight your battle on the battlefield, soldier. Give me the green. Hey, give me the green. Camo, camo, camo. Give me the green. No camo, no camo, no camo. No camouflage. Hey, give me the green, soldier. Give me the green. Oh well. Give me the green. Camo, camo, camo. Give me the green. How come?
You are listening to Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Roku TV. We are everywhere. Just a reminder, too, that every Friday night I am the joint host on Paul Stanford's TV show, Cannabis Common Sense, found on Portland Community Cable Access, also airs on Ustream all around the world, and you can find copies of it on YouTube, and, of course, timeforhemp.com. And with that said, I want to pass this joint conversation back over to my joint host, Kelly. Kriston, Kelly, you and your team do some wonderful things in the marijuana movement. You support many activists. You help expos get up and going, and you also make it possible for medical marijuana patients who are low on funds to take their medical marijuana and consume it in a very healthy manner, don't you?
Absolutely. And, you know, many different ways, of course, to consume the cannabis medicine that people use around the world for their various ailments. What we're interested in is medical patients who use cannabis and essentially cannot afford a quality vaporizer. And the reason why we give them away is because we know that vaporizers are healthier. They reduce toxins or anything taken into the body by there are well over 20 carcinogens that are created by combustion, which are eliminated with vaporization. So we believe it to be much healthier than combusting cannabis. So for the medical patient, that's obviously a plus. Where the real plus is for the medical patient is the fact that they use less cannabis to treat their ailment. And the reason being, it's not magical. Vaporizers are just more efficient. Combustion, you lose a lot of the active ingredient just because of the intense heat. So since that doesn't happen with vaporization, a lot more of the medication itself is recovered and absorbed into the body. So for this reason, people who are on a limited income, and which many medical patients around the world are, not only is it going to benefit their health to use a vaporizer, it's going to benefit their pocketbook, because most patients report using at least 50 to 70% less cannabis after receiving a quality vaporizer. So for those people who are on a limited income, it's a huge, huge, huge bonus. Those are the people we're interested in contacting, and we offer a free quality vaporizer to any medical patient anywhere in the world. We actually ship it right to your door, 100% free. It's simple to qualify. All you have to do is be someone who uses cannabis medicinally and someone who's on a limited income, whether that be, assisted income, pensions or disabilities or any of those types of things where they just barely give you enough money to live. And we understand that these people could never afford a quality vaporizer. So if you're one of those and you're listening, or if you're listening, and you're involved in the industry, you certainly know someone who could benefit from a free vaporizer. It's super simple. Send me an email to Kelly, Kelly, at kdkwholesale.ca. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll see if we can't get a free vaporizer out to you.
And sorry.
Caught you at the end of a vape bag?
You did. You caught me in the middle of a good hit there, Kelly. Thank you on behalf of the marijuana movement for all the wonderful things that you and your team do on behalf of the medical marijuana patients that we look at all around the world. And with that said, let's get back to our joint chat with our joint guest here on the joint broadcast and discover all the wonderful aspects about water. Kelly?
Cool. Well, now that we've got somewhat of a gist on what's happening, I envision I have, a much better idea since we started our conversation. So I'm Joe Consumer, and I've listened to the program, and I'm interested. I go to the website, and I see that you guarantee a 25% minimum yield increase and a 40% bud potency increase. Well, now I'm totally excited, and I'm jacked. So I'm going to order one over the internet, and I get it. And it says here that it must be installed at the seed clone grow stage. So I'm assuming, obviously, right from the very beginning, you want us to use this product in order to increase our yield and potency of our product. Take it from the top where Joe Consumer has his unit. He's got it home. Where does he install it? How does he install it? Is it difficult? Does he need special tools? Et cetera, et cetera. The consumer has it at home. He's got your product. How's he going to install it so that it works properly?
Okay, well, I made three different size units because I found a lot of growers were using water hose connectors. So we have a water hose connecting unit where you can connect it to a water hose system, or you can hook it up to a 3/4 inch line or a 1 inch line, depending. And we got larger systems for bigger operations. But basically, you just want to get this. I mean, again, this is not a filter, so you still want to, put a filter in to get rid of whatever chemicals that might be in the water, and then now you hook our system up behind the filter, and you're good to go. And the other thing that people, I don't know if we put that on the thing, but this system will last indefinitely. I mean, I've got systems that I put on in the 90s that are still working today. So
well, I do have a question.
To wear out on this unit.
Why would you want a filter along with this product? But doesn't this product take care of needing a filter?
Well, it can and does, but still, you don't know what kind of chemicals you're dealing with, coming into your water. Again, water companies are just dumping all kinds of chemicals into our water supply, and so no, I don't get rid of the chemicals. I change the memory, the toxic memory of the chemicals. I erase the toxic memory. So getting rid of the chemicals in a filter prior to my system is probably the best idea. Now, I do have growers that are telling me they're using my system without filtration, and they're getting results, which is surprising to them because normally the chlorinated water interfere with the growth of the plant. But because you're running the water through my system, they're able it's able to overcome the chlorinated water. But it's not a good idea on a perfect grow situation. I would want to filter before my unit.
Now I'm crazy about this item, so I'm going to put one. How about I put one before my filter and after my filter? Am I going to benefit because
just after, and you're good. Yeah. And again, these things last indefinitely. There's nothing to wear out inside. There's nothing to rust. It's a unit that was made to last indefinitely. And structured water is not just beneficial for the human. I mean, for the plant, it's good for the human. So enjoy it in every way you can. Vibration. Here's what people don't understand. Vibration is what attracts disease. Vibration. It's in the geometry in the water is what creates that vibration. And so people don't see water as a geometrical pattern, and it's absolutely geometrical. And it's when that geometry is distorted that the vibration is lowered, and that's where disease comes in. And this goes back 100 years ago, or whatever. This goes back to Louis Pasteur. When Louis Pasteur, basically said that. That basically the terrain has nothing to do with disease. That disease is, but terrain has everything to do with the disease. And so there's another guy, Louis Béchamp, said that it's the terrain. It's the terrain. Well, there was no money in his theory, so they got rid of him, and then we went off with the Pasteur's theory. And therefore, we started creating antibiotics and chlorine and everything. All this the chemical industry, started putting its claws into everything. And after 100 years of using antibiotics and chemicals and everything that we know, we're basically attacking nature. This is going the complete opposite direction. This works with the probiotics. This actually energizes the probiotic community and keeps disease, which is on the other end of the spectrum, completely out of the picture. So we're working on the opposite end of the spectrum of the antibiotic and the chemical side of things. This is the probiotic, and by raising the vibration, disease can't live and doesn't want to live. And you have a healthy environment, you have a healthy plant, and then that transfers over into the human. Everything's anyway. It's just we have to. All right.
Well, we got healthy plant and healthy human now. I can only assume that your background and your PhDs and the things that you have acquired as knowledge over the years has given you the ability to invent this. What is your background in water? What is your study? What is your scientific approach to this?
Okay, well, I was basically I was a self-made millionaire by the time I was 25. And when I got this money, I was also looking at losing my leg. I was riding a motorcycle. I crushed my leg, and they were going to amputate my leg. So just to make a long story short, I made a promise to God. I said, if you could save my leg, I would dedicate my life to doing something positive and doing something good. And by some miracle, I was introduced to some electronic machines, and they actually fixed my leg and prevented me from having my leg amputated. So at that point, I said, well, I'm going to take my money and I'm going to invest in something that's going to benefit mankind. Well, I started out thinking that, energy, power, getting off of the oil. So I invested in alternative energy systems.
All right, so far you're telling me that you're investing. I still haven't picked up on what your education, your knowledge, your ability to figure out how this works, and your expertise in the field.
I'm coming to that. So what happens, I started investing in alternative energy systems. And then when I did that, I end up hiring scientists to work for me. And one of the areas that I was working with was converting water into energy, hydrogen. So I was working on basically building hydrogen-powered generators. So it was through hiring these scientists from Europe and the U.S. that I was able to learn about the physics of water, because I was working on building hydrogen generators. So it was through basically just a hands-on experience in working with scientists in this field that I was able to learn about water from the European scientists. And, after 20 years and millions of dollars invested, I have developed a number of, over a dozen types of water systems, depending on the water problem. We cover from wastewater to for agriculture, hard water problems. Depending on the water problem, we have a.
So you hung out with these scientists. Why didn't they come up with this idea and push this product?
That's unfortunately that's kind of like where everybody has a part to play. It's no different than Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had people under him, a lot of Thomas Edison. Had a lot of scientists working for him. So I was fortunate enough to where I could bring these scientists together and then start figuring out what products can be developed from these ideas. And basically, a lot of my ideas came from Victor Schauberger and Tesla. And a number of scientists that were working in this area, and I just took all of their ideas and combined them to develop what I've got. So
then another thing that I thought would have been pretty groovy at one time would have been for someone on our network by the name of Wolf Siegel to do a side-by-side study where you put up a little grow tent with like 8 or 10 plants on here, and then right next to it another grow tent with 8 or 10 plants in there, and then you use the Jungle Secret water in one tent, and then you don't use the Jungle Secret water in another tent. And it was made clear to me that was impossible to do because the effect that this Jungle Secret water filter has on the water on your property, you really have to, if you're going to do a true study, have to do it on like almost a mile apart because the way this filter affects all the water on the property.
Yeah, it does have I don't know about a mile apart, but it does have an effect, and that's where the name Jungle Secret came from, because it just really makes things grow wild. I mean, it really makes things flourish. So it's just a dramatic difference, and he's putting 25% increase in yield. And, a lot of the growers that I know, they're getting 50, 70% increase in their yield. It really depends a lot on the water quality that you're starting off with. But most people aren't starting off with a good water quality. They're starting off with tap water and they're filtering it and they're using that water. And that's the worst water you could even begin to work with. And so when you change from that and you combine the Jungle Secret device, you're talking about, it's such a dramatic difference in water quality. You're going to see a huge increase in not only plant quality, but increase in your yields. You're going to see easily 25%. That's why we put that as a minimum. That's minimum.
Well, that's a pretty hefty guarantee. I can assure you of that. I mean, there's obviously a lot of other factors in the grow that can be, whatever. People aren't necessarily going to get that because they're going to have light interruption or they're going to have this happen or that happen. And, there are factors that you can't obviously control. You can, I guess.
And you got the genetics of the seed and the plant and so on. So, there are a lot of variables there. But honestly, water quality has been overlooked. People think that filtering the water is water quality, and it's absolutely a myth. Water quality is a lot more than filtration, and it should be a lot more than filtration.
Cool. Well, it sounds.
Kelly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Kelly, this is David. What I would say, and I haven't been around for as long as this technology, but on the web page, it makes a statement that there are hundreds sold going into over 1,000, all total more than that. But this specific product, and that there have been 0 product returns. That's a literal statement to this day. So no one wants to give it. No one wants their money back, and they never have. So I find that pretty powerful. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that's definitely a powerful statement. Now, if this is such a wonderful product, should everybody have one in their home? I mean, I'm sure you wish that. Should we be concerned about our?
The number one contributing cause to all of our diseases is chlorinated water. Number one contributing cause. And the reason why is because the chlorinated water is antibiotic water, and it's coming in and it's just wreaking havoc to our cells and the microbiological community. People forget that we're made up of trillions of microbes, each and every individual. And what do you think is going to be more beneficial to these trillions of microbes that inhabit our bodies? Is drinking antibiotic water or probiotic water? Well, this is what this energized water is. It's probiotic. It supports aerobic bacteriums in the natural biological functions. And so again, human beings need to be aware that water can be so much more valuable to us than what it's been.
Well, that's again another profound statement. I mean, obviously, the water is necessary for everybody. We're mostly water. A lot of the plants and vegetables that we eat, of course, are mostly water. Without water, we're certainly not. We don't exist. Nothing exists. It's as simple as it gets, but as important as it gets. And if this device works so well, I can't imagine why it wouldn't be in every possible conceivable area, whether it be, if a city system was to employ this system, would that water survive the trip from the water treatment plant to your home still, intact?
The answer to the question is yes, but the problem is I eliminate 80% of the chemicals used in water treatment plants, and that is a multi-billion-dollar a day industry, and they're not ready to share that pie with this type of technology. They like to keep the business the way it is. So I haven't gotten a lot of headway. I've introduced this introduced this to a couple of municipal water companies, and they basically say I eliminate 80% of their plants. So we have to rethink the way we treat our water for my system to be applied. So right now, with the laws in place, and they've got laws in place that we have to use these chemicals, my system is not able to get any headway. I'm working with some Native American communities in Canada to try to get around some of those laws.
Well, that would be awesome, because I know some of the Native communities in Canada do not have drinkable water in their homes. And the vast majority of Canadians can certainly drink water right from their tap and not be affected by it, whether it's through chlorine or chlorination, of course, and the other things that they may treat the water with, or at the water treatment plant level, like you say, with chemicals and stuff to make it supposedly safe for us to drink. They do an awful lot of work, spend a lot of money, and no doubt use a lot of chemicals. And
well, I'll give you an example. I live half my time is spent in Ecuador. I live in Ecuador for the past 8 years, and they've started. They got a new president, President Rafael Correa, and he's sort of developed or improving the infrastructure down there. And so what he's done is a lot of the Indian communities down there they're now piping in, city water into these communities that before was relying solely on spring mountain water or, spring creek water or well water. Well, they modernized these communities by piping in this chlorinated water. And over the past 3 years, their disease rate has gone up 600%. And that was absolute proof that, again, this chlorinated water is the number one contributing cause to all of our major diseases.
Well, one thing that is a contributor to my success is having advertisers, and the only way we can have that is if we follow Father Time. And unfortunately, Father Time says we are down to the end of the hour so that we can hit commercials and then start a new show on the next hour. So please make it a point to tell your friends to tune in. With that said, we're going to do a round table of shout-outs, and we'll start with the inventor of the Jungle Secret Water. Ralph, you want to give a shout-out to a URL or an organization that you want to put a spotlight on?
No, I'm just glad to be on the show. I'm a big proponent of marijuana. We use marijuana in Ecuador to treat cancer, and I'd love to come back and talk to you about the thousands of patients that we use this oil on, marijuana oil, and the results that we got. So keep up your good work, and thank you for having me and giving me this time.
Sure. And David, you want to give a shout out to an organization and a URL?
Well, quite honestly, I'm new to the industry. So the only URL I could get out is junglesecretwater.com. Come and see us. There is a lot of information there, and we are working on, making it much clearer because we're in a new field. So, but we're working on making it much clearer and much easier to understand. So we thank you for the time as well, and we look forward to working with Time for Hemp in the future and getting involved with your organization. So,
and Kelly, you want
to thank you, Kelly.
And Kelly, you want to give a shout out
on the show and filling us in a little bit more about Jungle Secret. I was very, very skeptical, and I have to admit that I'm still a little skeptical, but you've certainly cleared a lot of confusion in my head, and I think we're going to pursue it a little bit further. And thanks for the opportunity. And I wish you well, of course, with your product. And certainly, if it works as well as it does, I can see it being everywhere. So, with that said, again, to medical patients, Kelly, Kelly at kdkwholesale.ca for a free vaporizer. Quick shout out to, I'm going to throw in a couple today, Casper. Jeff at Skunk Funk for having the Prairie Cup was a great success as always. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend due to family matters. And a shout out for the Kush Cup in Toronto through Sarah Sunday, which is also upcoming. And get out and vote. Damn it, it's important.
And I do want to remind people that we are no longer just a 1 hour broadcast, but we are a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week broadcasting team of 20 people or more who are trying to raise the voice of the marijuana movement and make it clear how important it is to end prohibition all around the world. And remember, the next time you hear me, you'll know that it's time for hemp.